It's right about time again to swerve again, confuse the general fans again. Add another swerve and then put it on a poll again. Put it on a poll again. Put it on the poll again. And our square to quad, it's gonna get emotional as I wait to overbook the damn card. I guess I'm losing confidence in my competence. Viscera's now president. Shoot or work or shoot. Just put the title on a boot. The boot defends against a fruit. The fruit defends against my suit. And I squared and quad. Which one will get emotional as I wait to overbook the damn quad. Whoa, oh, wanna be the baddest man on the planet, on the planet, on the planet. We put 7 men in a 4-man tag. Let's do the angle punks on crack. How about a title match? First to do 10 jumping jacks will then receive a title match. Royal Rumble on a pole match. When Rod's where with Rod. When Rod's wet, Rebel Swivel. And the way to overbook the damn quad.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Three Boys and No Men. I am Vince Russo. I'm here with Stevie Richards, and I'm here with the great Bin Hakmeen. This is a very special free episode, bro, of Better Call Khan. Now, if you guys want every episode of Better Call Khan, you can go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Russo TWC. I follow Tony Khan. It's like an addiction to me. It's like an obsession to me. I can't wait till the next Tony Khan interview to see what comes out of his mouth first. But Stevie, I'm going to hand it over to you because we just did our Raw review over on russosbrand.com, and you interrupted us with some late breaking news, Stevie. So can you tell us what that news is?
Transformers roll out. Yeah, I had seen it actually from Ben's group on Facebook talking about it. I'm sure it's everywhere by now at the time of this stream. But yeah, Tony Khan announced that he thanked Cody and Cody and Brandi for all their integral contributions to AEW. And then Cody put out a very long letter too, thanking everybody. Yeah.
No.
Then we get that on video. If you're listening on audio, you have to see Vince's reaction.Ody did a release. We haven't gotten a statement from Brandi yet.
We have.
Yes, we did, bro. Bro, can we seriously, listen, honestly, bro.
The trifecta.
Bro, can we stop with the ridiculous Academy Award acceptance speeches?
This is the real triple threat.
Can we remind these people, bro, they're in the freaking wrestling business. Okay, bro, this is not the Academy Awards. This is not some great monumental moment where we've got to give acceptance speeches. But they're naming so many people in this acceptance speech. Like who freaking cares, bro? Who?
Yeah, and very little, I guess. And those people are ready to move up into more spots, or is Tony going to isolate himself on Creative Island even further? There just a big paycheck that Cody's going back to WWE for a main event, or does he have a movie or something lined up? But if it was a movie, then saying a movie, dog, then Brandi probably would have stayed at AEW. So this is whoa, baby, a big move for everybody. Maybe the wine's paying off and they can retire. Who knows at this point? Or they're just going to go tour the country on the Lex Express and show everybody liberty. So, yeah, man, it's all weirdly not well planned, I would say, but like out of nowhere, kind of, with his contract being up and they missed the opportunity to have him in the Royal Rumble. But this goes to another show we were going to kind of do. We talked about doing of the conspiracy of the link between AEW and WWE based off of the years of lies and deception of WWE funding and partially owning ECW. Is this exactly where we are again in a lot of ways to pick up a Keith Lee? And yeah, we'll fund that as well. So I don't know, man. There's many layers that are yet to unravel.
Stevie, I swear to God, I get so amused by this stuff because, bro, this story breaks. And then I swear to God, bro, once you go to the dirt sites, it's literally like World War III just broke out. And this is the biggest news.
Really
Is this Archduke Ferdinand's been assassinated?
Yeah, let me explain something to everybody. Like, honestly, see, guys, when you come into our world, Hameen Media Group, Stevie Richards Fitness, Russo's brand, bro, when you come into our world, we deal with reality. We're not marks. We don't get excited over meaningless, trivial bullshit. Bro, this means absolutely nothing, bro, because let me tell you something. The WWE and AEW, bro, they can continue to swap talent back and forth till the cows come home. None of this shit matters, bro. None of this stuff is going to move the needle. The same people are going to watch the same shows, whether or not Cody Rhodes is with WWE or AEW. That's the fact of the matter. The only thing I can tell you from experience, Ben and Stevie, there's one thing that moves the needle. One thing, and it's not who you sign and who you bring in, bro. Because after the initial pop, everything goes downhill, as we've seen with CM Punk, as we've seen with Daniel Bryan, as you're going to see with Cody Rhodes if he goes to the WWE. Here's what it comes down to, guys. What do you do with them once they're there? Because the only way you move the needle, Ben, is week after week after week of compelling television, weeks and weeks and months of storytelling and build, where now you're bringing in the casual fans and they're getting hooked and they're telling their friends. That is the only thing. Cody Rhodes, Stevie, signing with WWE means shit, bro. It means absolutely nothing. Right or wrong, Stevie?
Well, you know what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And I think we talk about the bubble all the time. And I think the talent, the promoters, everybody should have changed their perspective by now, because ratings do matter, income matters, ticket sales matter. All these things would matter and make these TV rights deals and everything much more lucrative than they already are. If everybody did that, they would probably be more free to create, not from, say, whatever days wrestling isn't on, being on social media and selling for that, instead of really trying to have, I hate to say this term like a Johnny Ace, like, let's have fun out there, but like that, having more fun out there and letting your character explore where their character can go, rather than being played up with who's signing with who, with these shots of dopamine, rather than the big payoffs over weeks and months of years of character development. But I never had a chance, in all seriousness, I never had a chance to thank Cody personally. Now that we're live on YouTube and I think Twitch, and we have a lot of people watching, I want to personally thank Cody Rhodes, Mr. Rhodes. I want to thank you for taking all the heat off of my Motley Crue tattoo with your neck tattoo.
Yeah.
You comply. As I've erased this tattoo, you have erased the history of my tattoo and taken all the heat off me. So if Cody has done nothing else in this business except make me feel better about myself,
I want to
Thumbs up.
thank Cody Rhodes. Let's all thank Cody. I'm very thankful to Cody for once again making my karma theory come through. I am a big believer in karma. And when Cody was sitting on top of the world and sticking his head up every ass of every mark out there, he went on a video and he painted a picture of me as being a homophobe, bro. Aside from the fact that the guy never met me or the guy never had a single conversation with me, but bro, he was the kingpin when AEW was starting, and he went out there on social media, called me a homophobe to get over with all his little Mark friends. And let me tell you something, bro. I will say this. Guys, you can go back and watch Rhodes on Top. Is it what all Roads to the Top? Whoever's on top, you can go back and watch those episodes and you could see Cody, bro, talking about Tony Khan's new toys and his shiny new toys. And all of a sudden I'm moving to the back of the line and I'm not the company darling anymore. And, you know, listen, bro, first of all, a couple of things, Ben and Steve here. I am number one. Listen, I'm shocked Tony Khan didn't pay these two whatever the hell they wanted. I mean, money means absolutely nothing to Tony Khan. But Ben, I've got to ask you this question. This is a serious question. So evidently, it probably, as everything in business, it comes down to money. Cody probably wanted big money. He held two positions. Brandi held two positions. He didn't get that. Ben, honestly, give me one good reason why the WWE would invest a lot of money in this guy. Like seriously, like why would you pay Cody Rhodes a shitload of money to wrestle on your television show that nobody's watching?
As the ego fuck you back that we can, do dirt behind the scenes to pull your top star, and he used leverage and we sold for it, and it's going to shake up the biz, Briz. And maybe that's all a work and everybody's in on it. So I would like to thank Cody for all the times he took the boys out to Cheddar's and paid for the bill. So I'm thankful for. Yeah, for sure. I think the fact that they missed the Royal Rumble and didn't do business, and what are you going to do? Triple H is the heat with him if you were to bring him back to get something going. So that's the only way that you would, and I don't think Game's in any physical condition to be doing that right now, to do power couple versus power couple with him and Steph. I mean, dream booking wise, that's where the feud is, but anything short of that, what are we really doing in a women's division that's an absolute joke? And what's Brandi going to do wrestling wise in WWE? She's already, I guess, better than half of their roster wearing masks and other shit that way, man. But I think a bigger question too is Cody out ahead of something? Is Cody leaving because he knows something inside that once the deal with TBS is done, they're not renewing or something? And will you see Jericho follow suit? Will you see a Jake Hager follow suit? Because and if Khan's not renewing indie guys' contracts and he starts not renewing over guys' contracts like a Rusev, writing might be on the wall that this little wrestling project was fun, but I'm tired of dedicating 90 hours a week to it to only have to take criticism. It's not what I dreamed it to be. Like, is that day coming sooner? And is this a stepping stone in that, as opposed to just Brandi and Cody waving goodbye, and what is the locker room saying when the former EVPs and top guys that you had to kiss up to and never cross are now leaving and these spots are open? And there's all these murmurs in the vacuum and who's going to do it else. And Khan has now isolated himself from the Bucks, from Omega, and he's the one pulling the strings. Who's his consigliere? And the other thing that always stuck out weird with me with the homophobia stuff with you, how can you be declared homophobic when you wrote Gold Dust? One of the most walk the line characters that never really was like an insult, in my opinion. It was a different era, but it never got to that point. It still held tons of integrity and served, so many purposes.
Against it's poetic justice, bro. That is because Cody called me that, bro, to get over with the marks and to get over with the smart crowd. Those same people that turned against him. That's why I love karma. I enjoy it, bro. Be a dick. Throw that shit out there, bro. Hurt other people, not care what you say, because the karma is going to come back to bite you in the ass. But Stevie, here's the thing. You know, Ben, first of all, Ben, I just want to say, for the record, I want to be the first one to say this here. With all the titles that Tony Khan has, I have no problem with all the wrestlers leaving AEW and it becoming the Tony Khan show. I swear, bro, I would watch that. If you put Tony Khan out there for an hour, stomping his foot, his high pitch, trying to be Joey, I'm watching that show. I got no problem with that. Yes, I'm watching that show. That show, the Tony Khan show, is ratings. Tony, wake up, bro. I know you're listening. I know you live vicariously through me. Bro, make it the Tony Khan show. You don't need anybody else on that roster. Look at you flying high.
I waited for him for my lunch date. He never showed up. He never showed up.
I do want to say this, though, Stevie. Stevie, listen, we know. And you know what? Hey, listen, Ben, maybe Cody Rhodes is smarter than all of us, and he's got something bigger and better and more lucrative than professional wrestling. Maybe, bro, he was on several television shows on TBS. Maybe they saw something in him. Maybe they're going to make him the next superhero. Who knows? But Stevie, this I want to say. Bro, I don't care if you leave the WWE for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years. Stevie, you're going back to the same company. So for all the reasons that Cody Rhodes left, guess what, bro? Those problems and those people and those politics are still there. Right or wrong, Stevie?
Got him. Hey, that's the thing. Vince will pay Cody and Brandi $1 million each just to make them eat shit for however long he's going to make them eat shit. That will be fun to him. They just said they made $1 billion on that call. What's $1 million over a year? It's 365 days times 2 to be able to make those people miserable. Vince and Bruce and the people in charge will have fun with that.
And do they know that? And Brandi and Cody sat down at their dinner table and said, you know what, $2 million is worth the misery. We just bought this, whatever it is, $1.6 million mansion. And Tony only wants to re-sign us for $350,000 each. So for another $650 each, $1.3 million, they go, fuck it. I'll go back and get slime dumped on me and run the obstacle course and get shocked by Sami Zayn. Is that really what?
That's a hard thing to do when your ego has been stroked for so long and everybody thinks you're the cat's meow, and you go, that's a hard fall, dude. I was in that spot for 9.5 years, so I was cool with it. But when you go all the way up and you're that far down,
let me tell you something, Ben. And bro, if you saw 5 minutes of Roads to the Top and you witnessed how highly these two think of themselves, Ben, I got to be honest with you, I don't think they're going back and eating anybody's shit. I can't see that, bro, because both of these individuals really have a very, very high opinion of themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's got a price, and this isn't even confirmed that they're going back to WWE. Maybe have some other project, but for her to leave as well, or was there something bigger in a falling out, and they're getting out ahead of it before their brand is damaged? They're not going to go down the Titanic. Is Jericho going to jump in the next month? Like, what are the next dominoes to fall? Or people are like, Jake Hager's nothing. You're telling me you wouldn't want to see a semi shoot or a real shoot between Jake Hager and Riddle? like that. There's interesting stuff there, and AEW could have done it, but instead we have 4 debuts on the night of Keith Lee, and we have death matches, and we have big meetings that take away the spotlight because this guy's never written TV, and he signs off on his thing as head of creative. This is the first TV and creative thing you've written. You might have had a notebook since you were 12 writing down dream booking. That doesn't mean you know how to do character arcs, how to put heat on a heel, how to tell a full, complete story, how to get somebody over coming in as a hot property. You don't put them against Orange Cassidy and have them hug them and push them off a ledge. It's kindergarten over there when it comes to the creative process. Not that WWE's any better by any means of what they're putting out, but nobody's putting anything anything captivating.
Yeah, and that's just it, Stevie. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but bro, that's the thing. Like, people are, so excited over this. This is a game changer. Bro, this doesn't mean shit. Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, even if it goes to WWE, it's not going to change anything. I don't know, Stevie. It's like people are holding on for there's gonna be that one big thing that's gonna bring wrestling back, and millions of people are gonna start watching it again, and it's gonna be cool again, and it's gonna be mainstream again. Well, bro, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't think that's ever happening again in our lifetime, and it certainly isn't going to happen with this move, Stevie.
Well, I want to remind everybody out there, remind ourselves that Shad Khan, his dad, had said that basically this money to fund AEW was like, hey, I'm not going to be around someday, so you might as well get some of the money now. Some of the money, by the way, not all of it, some of the money before I go. These people on this level of wealth and the amount of money that these people in this family have, they could shut it down tomorrow. It's not like he could just be like, I need for you to come back and focus on the Jaguars. We got Doug Peterson. We want to be a winner. We need your analytics. We need you full-time. Not anything malicious. Just, hey, that's cool, but that's not making us any money. That's not our legacy. This football team, if we don't produce, they could take the team away from us or move it out of Jacksonville. So we need you back here. I could see that being a realistic approach to AEW almost instantly shutting down. That's really could be on the table.
You have other things too, of like not that,
and then selling to Vince, obviously, for a fraction of it,
right.
Something like that.
You got Malachi Black versus Davey Richards on indie shows. Like, a great match, but would Vince ever let his talent go pre-promoted on some indie and not protect them? The fact that your top guys are going out and doing these other things, even if they're independent contractors, tells a strange tale to me, man. And I think it may be over quicker than it started, and you'll never see a Bray Wyatt. That's why Braun and EC3 and other guys are putting on their own show. You're not seeing them show up there. There's some interesting things. Did Keith Lee really sign a contract, or was that a one-off for a big payday just to test and see how things go? Is that way we're going forward? All these questions are still unanswered, and there's going to be a lot of, like any locker room, like, wow factor, especially when a top guy leaves, because there was no real stooge report through the internet before these statements came out. So they kept it pretty close to the chest of what's going on here. So
there was somebody in the chat really quickly that said that there's no chance that AEW will shut down. Turner got rid of, Turner and AOL with that deal, got rid of WCW. There were some protections because there were stockholders, and maybe some people who are influenced by Ted Turner could still believe in the WCW product. Plus, WCW had drawn a profit during the Monday Night Wars and was winning ratings when they actually mattered to both companies. AEW is literally, I'm sorry, it's a plaything that Shad Khan let Tony Khan have as his action figure wrestling promotion. That's all it really is.
I mean, shout out to everybody checking us out here live for the free version of Better Call Khan here, but you might not know F all about business and how corporate business works. Let's look at what happened. They got on TNT by Cody Soft Soap and the CEOs using Bischoff, probably behind the scenes as well. And Khan's buddy was a top exec at TNT. Boom, the deal gets done, and they're in that way because they want to feed off the bloated whale carcass that is the Jacksonville money. So they step up and they get the deal done. Everybody's happy. Then that guy, his buddy, gets shit canned in a cutback during COVID, so he's out. And now Bischoff, who was probably allegedly in our minds somebody working as an intermediary between them, he's gone too. So now what happens? AEW gets shifted to TBS, which is the Gomer Pyle station, which, you know, they want to act like it's some throwback to the early days, but really it's a demotion. And the numbers have never gone over what the original 1.3 million is. You've gone from 1.1 down to 750,000 back up to about 1 million, but you're right in the 800 and 900,000 range. And for TV, you can put on an episode of Friends and draw 3 times that. So really the base wrestling audience is at 1.6 to 1.9 million, which is SmackDown's about highest number, maybe 2.1. And you can't even draw 1/3 of that coming off of a 2 million niche market. And when your shoulder to 500,000, that is not a good look to any corporate person. They don't care about wrestling. They look at the numbers, and then they'll hide it with the demo because the numbers are trash. It's the same as Vince McMahon going, my creative's the best, $1 billion. No, it sucks. And it's because you streamline your product. So it's always some little shell game corporate excuse. But the fact that you had a dude on the inside, you had a former Turner guy with Bischoff, those are both gone, demoted to the next channel down, and your numbers aren't there. You get about one more chance at bat to take a whiff, and then they're going to be saying, we might want to clip this.
And you know what, Ben? Who knows, bro? Who knows? When you look at keep in mind, when we talk about Brandi and we talk about Cody, bro, you're talking about 4 salaries here. They were both performers and they both had office jobs. Now, here's another thing, Stevie. Here's some food for thought. Ben, you talk about that first number, the very first show was 1.4 million. Okay, we've never that's the benchmark. They've never topped that. However, Ben, let's look. Here's what they never talk about. What was the payroll of the talent on that first show compared to now? Now, how about this, Stevie? Maybe Dad, maybe Shad, bro, maybe there was a budget. Maybe there was a, you know, we've now come to the amount of
I heard $150 million was allocated at the beginning that we could go, and if we were losing, and that now that was before COVID was figured in. How much on that number did they lose through 2 years of COVID, having their indie guys at ringside as the fake crowd? Was that $100 million?
Maybe with him bringing all these people in, Stevie, maybe Dad just gave him a salary cap. And maybe Brandi and Cody would have put him way over that salary cap. Because again, bro, that's what makes me laugh, bro. They've yet to top the number of the first show, but nobody is talking about what was the payroll on that first show compared to that payroll now. You have, I would say you have at least tripled your payroll from what you haven't tripled the numbers, but you've tripled the payroll. So who knows, Stevie? Maybe the Dad is now stepping in, and maybe now it's about salary cap, and maybe it's about budgets now.
You know, I mean, Tony's their analytics guy on the Jaguars, so he has to look at numbers. And obviously, like Ben said, the shell game of moving the numbers to kind of espouse your success, no matter what the numbers are, that's not honest. And that's a great point right there, Vince. Highest ratings, 1/3 the payroll without CM Punk, without Bryan Danielson. Who else? Was Miro even there? Or was
no, he wasn't. You got, that's what I'm saying.
Hager wasn't there on the initial thing. There's probably, what are we talking about?
Alistair Black. You got Charlotte's boyfriend, Andre Carlo. You got, I mean, one after the other of guys. Matt Hardy. Legends.
And MJF was re-signed, and then you got to think about the people that were re-signed before 2022. You're absolutely right, Vince, and both of you guys. The loss, we might think, oh, it's just this or that, but they might have planned house shows in 21, 22, and now That's off the table. So which means your merchandise at the concession stand, the ticket sales, all these other things. And then if COVID hits again or some kind of lockdown happens, the unknown future of what the business could bring could be enough for the father to say, yeah, we're not near the 150 mark, but God, man, let's just pay these people out and let's just go home, come back to football, because football is a multi-billion-dollar business that the government and the world will not let go away. Wrestling could kind of go away and nobody would, I wouldn't say nobody. There's people in the chat. And we appreciate people being fans, but the majority of people would not really miss wrestling because the majority of people are not watching
100
wrestling
million
now.
people watch 100 million people watch the Super Bowl.
Well, they watch AEW too. If you look at the demo,
but you got to look at the demo, not
the
total
mail-in
viewers,
ballots for the we mailed in our ratings. It's interesting. That's all. We're not being negative or haters about it. Obviously Cody's a smart business guy, and Cody's going to get his money in or out, or in and out of wrestling. So he's going to be okay. Both of them are going to be good. And he has a kid too. So obviously we want these people to make their money, be able to support a family.
Let's talk a little bit about what I like by show don't tell though, or what we've heard before about the way their business practices. And I'm not saying they, like on Impact where you got to threaten with a lawyer to get your paycheck sometimes, the fact that he might have that money allocated for some big names or whatever they wanted to do. But I go to Dylan Bostic, a Rip Rogers guy who was signed as an extra, and they shorted him on a $400 payday and only paid him not even half of what it was. And then when they brought that to light, they tried to smash him down and ruin his name that way. And then even before they were even in the wrestling business, when there was all the NFL strike and whatnot, his dad was one of the first people to replace with scabs and get rid of people that, out of there to just fill spots with people who weren't the best people for the job. And we've seen that kind of trickle down through a lot of the people that they signed. Now they have 130 people supposedly under contract. And I mean, some of those will roll.
Well, there's another company that had 130 people under contract and they went under. Once you hit a bloated contract, that's step one to not having quality and just having quantity. WWE was looking at that too.
I almost got to believe it's the real deal in here, and if you are or not, because I've had a little interaction. But Primo Cologne, somebody's labeled in the chat here on YouTube. I'm not sure if it is the legit Primo. Looks like a handsome fellow, and also talking pretty politically correct and just talking wrestling. So if it is the real deal, shout out, man. Always glad to have workers join us. But yeah, the fact that they thought they were going to bring in Punk, Daniel Bryan, anybody, and even their top guys like Omega hurt and burn out. How do you get him relit? You know what I mean? You got to start from the ground up to get things going again with those guys.
Don't forget about Shaq and Mike Tyson multiple times.
Snoop Dogg, and that's the other thing too. Here's just the big misses that are basic. Who does he have on his roster? Brian Pillman's son, a former Cincinnati Bengal. Did we do any Bengal shit to highlight him leading into the Super Bowl? Zero, bro. Like shit that's built in. Snoop Dogg, biggest halftime show in history. Did we do anything to highlight? We had Snoop here? Zero, bro. Instead, we're having 4 debuts of rookies and all that kind of shit, man. So
I gotta address somebody in the room somebody in the room just said, "Oh, sorry guys, I don't get off on people losing their job. I'm not a dickhead." Are we getting off on people? First of all, there wasn't a loss of a job. Cody Rhodes did not get fired. His contract expired, and they didn't come to an agreement for a new contract. That's not somebody losing their job or getting fired. And I haven't heard one people. My karma is coming from, and I thought I made this clear, but obviously not. While Cody was attempting to slander my name to get over with the marks, those were the same marks that turned on him. So when I'm talking about karma, that's what I'm talking about. we're not celebrating because somebody lost a job here, because first of all, no jobs were lost. The guy's contract was up. They negotiated. They didn't agree on a new contract. Now Cody will either, move on to the WWE and get that kind of money, or, like I said, bro, hey, listen, man, through TBS, through TNT, I am sure Cody has made a lot of contacts, and maybe he is going to do something beyond wrestling. I mean, that's what I would vote for. I doubt that, bro, because at the end of the day, he is a Rhodes, and wrestling is in his blood. And you know what, bro? When, again, going back to Rhodes leading to all tops, Brandi loved wrestling. I mean, they love wrestling. I mean, there's no question about that. So I would think that they're going to find a place in the wrestling business. The WWE is probably the only ones that can afford to pay them, but nobody's celebrating anybody losing a job here, because nobody lost the job.
If anything, he's a job creator. We're here talking about it.
Right.
So I'm definitely not anti that. It creates buzz in our industry.
I wonder, Ben, how much of this is this now the Vince McMahon syndrome? Because this is interesting too, Stevie. Bro, when Tony Khan got into this, he was virgin pure. He knew nothing about this other than he was booking in a notebook in the second grade. He needed Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody in key spots. Now, bro, we have seen the transition, Stevie, of, okay, all of a sudden, I'm the owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the chairman of the board, I'm the creator, I'm the writer, I'm the booker. All of a sudden, Tony Khan could now do all things. And, we've been reading all along that, the Codys and the Omegas and the Young Bucks, had less and less power and say-so. Could this be a position, Ben, where maybe Cody was one of those guys that challenged Tony Khan, and if he didn't like an idea, he objected? I mean, Brandi seems like that kind of a woman where if she doesn't, could he now be wanting to move those people out that are not going to bow down and kiss his ass?
Yeah, that are actually trying to tell him, bro, that's not the right psychology. Here's how Al Snow or Vince would have done it, and here's how I've done it before. I don't want to hear that. This is what I want to do. Okay. And you get aced out that way, and you're just being paid for your misery. That definitely could be a part of it. I think if you see Moxley and Jericho, they'd be my next two to see jump, because I know they've already politicked for Moxley to come back. Roman and Seth have. If you see that happen, I think the writing's on the wall. If you see those two guys next go, then that could be it. And I wouldn't doubt that Rusev would go back in a heartbeat as well.
But so Stevie, we're looking at still going back to the same company, right?
Yeah, they're still. I mean, it's not a great look. That's why we always say that they should really try to get their own brand up and running as much as possible, and not count on Tony Khan nor Vince McMahon. But man, what a pattern that would be. And it repeats itself in wrestling and in business all the time. It's a tale as old as time, where Tony, just speculating if that's the case, plus the fact too, he's got a little ammunition. Just a side note, like the Shaq and the Snoop Dogg and the Mike Tyson stuff. Isn't that Brandi's job to really promote that stuff? What about the Cincinnati Bengals with Pillman's son? That's a brand officer job to get across. So they might have been like in the very beginning, oh wow, you're going to pay us like $250 to be this and $250 to be that, or I'll take an extra.
All the playoff games just for that fact.
No, what I'm saying is, like, they probably said, yeah, we can do that job and this and that and the other thing, because they thought he's a money mark. He'll pay us, but they had to actually work.
Were we not here at the beginning when he was handing out these executive vice president? Were we not here from day one saying, where is that on their resume? I mean, bro, listen, make no bones about it. Brandi seems like a very smart, intelligent girl. I mean, from what I've seen, that's what I gather. But bro, a chief branding officer, what was her experience? What was her resume, bro? We talked about that from day one.
You know who's a real chief brand officer? It might not be a popular answer. Nick Khan. Yeah. Nick Khan gets shit done, and Nick Khan got Bad Bunny. Nick Khan got, Johnny Knoxville. These names might not be the most, but he has a plan to get this mainstream crossover. He's showing results. And also, he might be the guy, cut Braun, cut Bray, really making these moves to get Vince to confide in him. That's a person that just says, these two, they're kind of played out, not doing anything for your brand, or maybe Braun cut his own throat, obviously, but on the crossover with Hollywood, and maybe he's got a plan next year to cut into sports, and even having the belts at the Super Bowls with the Ram logo on it is more than AEW ever did for any sports team. Even that little look. Yeah. Why is an AEW belt not there with Cooper Kupp or somebody holding that up? What happened there? But the Tony Khan thing is interesting because the pattern repeats itself throughout all of time. He got people there. He wanted other people's opinions. Then everybody started puffing him up. Well, they were all yes men. Let's not kid ourselves. They were telling Tony he was great. You can beat Vince, all this stuff, everything. And then he started to believe what he was being told. Then the animal turned on its trainer and said, no, I don't need you anymore. And now Tony's going to surround himself by yes men that are going to bring the company down potentially.
And now what happens, Ben? Cody's got some of his boys there. What happens to QT Marshall? What happens to Dustin?
Oh, all of you paid $4,500 for a match on Dark. That's gone. And there's been times where Cody, I've came up with him at OVW. I like what he did in the ring with Spears. I think it's some of the best stuff I've ever seen when he's booked right. He's a natural baby face that way. But they use that power to get over, and now it's gone. They're going to clean house with those guys. Like all those dudes who were under guys who thought they had an in, that's going to be gone as well. And I'm sure Khan knew he was getting worked a little bit by it. But then here's what I got to say about Cody being an agent and whatnot. Did he do that in WWE? No, I don't think so. Did he do that in OVW? Not that I saw. So how is he going to be ready to agent the big weigh-in that went awry? That was a terrible scene. I felt bad for everybody in that, and time slowed down and it sucked. That heat's on him, and he took that heat like a pro. Like, I effed up. You can't be that agent and be the top guy being that star. He spread himself way too thin, plus everything else that went on, so there's plenty of reasons of like why you wouldn't want to re-sign him based off of lack of confidence from creative, experience. They're kind of all learning on the job over there. Just because they were stars someplace else or somebody's kid doesn't mean you're the best person to be the branding officer, to be the agent for that type of shit.
Somebody just said I had to chuckle a little bit. Somebody just said on the comments here that, Dustin Rhodes already made a statement and he's not going anywhere. Well, unfortunately, that's not up to Dustin Rhodes, whether he's not going anywhere or not. There's somebody that paid Dustin Rhodes. It blows my mind, Stevie, just the wrestling business, because I'm trying to read these comments while you guys talk, and there's so many people who think this is a work. And I'm like sitting here saying, and what is this work going to accomplish? Like, what exactly does this work? Somebody saying, oh, no, bro, it's a work, and Cody's going to come back at the next pay-per-view and be a super. Oh, and that's going to do what? What is that going to change, Ben?
It's going to make him just as hated as he was before he left.
It'll make everybody involved look stupid. Why are you releasing official statements to your social media thanking Blue Pants and everybody else? That was a pleasure working with you. If you think that's a work, you're one of the dumbest marks of wrestling if you're commenting that. And we thank you for being in the chat so you can hopefully get educated about what this business really is. You want to know what this is, bro? This whole thing. Here's Vince McMahon. Here's Tony Khan. It's a bloated whale carcass and a bloated whale carcass. In between, sharks swim back and forth and take big bites off of either side. And when everybody's feeding on that one over here, there looks like there's a little to chew on over. $1 billion profit. Sharks, go get them. Like, that's what is going on here. And if you don't know that, it's because you're a fan and you're not a part of this business. But that is exactly what this is.
But
Now,
let's look at that though, really quick, Ben. I hate to interrupt, but
what?
don't we think that is the core problem in any company right now with wrestling? Maybe a lot of things, just overexposure via social media and Twitter, no suspension of disbelief. We appreciate people being fans, but these things, if they are work, are such a waste of energy through Twitter and Facebook and these official statements. Like what you just described with Tony and the EVPs, Tony gaining all the power, Tony's quirks, all this stuff. That's the show. As Vince says all the time about McMahon, that's the show. Show us that reality show, and then we'll watch, because we really don't know what these people will do every week.
Yeah.
We are not stupid, Ben Hameen, and spells Hameen with an H at the end.
You think pretty goddamn highly of
yourself. Who the hell are you? You never went up there.
I just gotta laugh, guys. Like, seriously, like, oh, it'll work. Bro, listen, if you're wasting this kind of time and energy and money on a work that is going to equal shit, I don't even know what to tell you.
Dude, I gotta cut this off. This is the comment of the year.
Go ahead.
Bringing Cody back to WWE. You ready?
Yeah.
In polka dots.
Hey, man.
Dude, hey. That's it.
He's got, and dude, I hate to say it, but that's what he's going to look at. And not only that, you've got Sweet Sapphire with him.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
And Vince is so full of dementia, he really thinks it's Dusty and Sapphire.
See, that would be tremendous TV.
Gotta leave on that.
Oh, I wish they do that. Stevie, tell everybody out there, man, these great fitness programs you have, bro. Tell everybody about Stevie Richards Fitness.
Well, don't pump them up that much. People might be disappointed, but they're pretty good. Yeah, you go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. We still have the resistance band training programs, but the focus of the business, just like any other business where you want to pivot to other areas, has focused on the home gym equipment, garage gym equipment, products like that. So if you go to the YouTube channel, check it out. There's affiliate links in the description below, but you can also go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. Check out our current recommended brands, recent videos, and of course, you can go to the resistance band training programs and workout videos there.
Ben Hameen Media, bro.
Who?
Yeah, who is Ben Hameen?
Who is Ben Hameen? Who is what has this been? Who has this Ben Hameen ever beaten, bro?
Yeah,
what have you ever beaten? What have you ever done, you bum? You hanger-oner. What have you done, Ben Hameen?
You don't deserve to have an opinion. You were never in WWE, you piece of shit. Oh man. If you don't know who I am, that's because I'm nobody, and all of us are no one as well. But I wish I could really learn from some of you out there about this business, and hopefully you can subscribe to channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and just leave me all the hateful messages you want. And then you can come to an indie show and bring $5, or go to my YouTube, Ben Hameen, and see what you can buy for $5, because I'll be happy to slap that stupid mouth right off your fucking idiot head. Because you haven't paid a due, you haven't dropped a dime, you haven't fucking done the miles, you haven't taken the bumps. And you definitely haven't put in the studio hours it takes to be a made man around here. So we appreciate all of the ignorance, because that's what we get to do, is educate and grow our channels, man. So please go subscribe, or go to prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hameen or cameo.com/Ben Hameen, and I'll be glad to cut the promo, cancel your birthday, tell your mother-in-law she's fat, and let you know that Sami Zayn is indeed not getting fired. So y'all infidels, we appreciate you joining us here here for a special Better Call Con. Go check out all of their social medias to get more official statements. I mean, who's going to put out an official statement next about whether they're leaving?
And guys, you can
Blue
get
pants.
all of this, bro. All of this. Bid Hameen Media Group, Stevie Richards, myself, bro. You can get all of this, man, under channelattitude.com. We're going to call it like
chat
the way we see it. Has this old bearded fool
ever done a death match? No, because
Which old? Wait a minute. That could be
Have
either.
you ever
That could be
done a
any three of
death
us right
match,
here.
you
Which one is it?
bearded fool.
Oh,
You, how dare you, you
A
bearded
death
fool.
I
match.
can't wait for 3 old bearded fools coming soon to
If you do
Russo's
death
brand.
match, you suck at character and don't know how to get over it.
Can somebody, Stevie, can you make a note of bearded fool? I want Ben to put that as his moniker on the
Bearded
next
fool, I
on
got
next week's.
Got it right here.
All right, guys.
Internet remains undefeated,
Guys.
baby.
Ding dong.
Bro, it's a work. It's a work. It's a work, guys. It's a work. Don't get worked,
The
everybody.
Rock has
It's a
the Rock
work,
has
bro.
some words for the chat, by the way.
And if any of you refute that, I dare you to come out here and do something about it.
Yes.
Persuasion, then leave. Mark Henry. I'm telling you, I don't make the rules around here, okay?
Well, if we're gonna play clips, I'm gonna play my oldie but goodie. Hold on, Ben, you've been Europe next. I'm gonna play my oldie but goodie. Here we go. Oh, not that one. Damn it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Next.
Group.
Oh,
Yes. Ben, I wanted to play "Put Your Meat on My Meat," but I messed
Oh,
up.
you wanted that one? I
You
can
not
get
putting
you
my meat on your meat, bro?
No bread, no water, just meat. That's all he wants. That's all he needs.
All right, guys, we will see you next time. Me, Stevie Richards, and the Bearded Fool. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Crushed infidels. There's nothing left for you here. Heels over strong. After hugging, you all.